Hi, my name is Gunther Steiner. I'm the team principal of Haas F1 team, and this is a fucking bunch of wanker.
Well, that's one way of putting it. Hey there guys, and welcome to FP1. And today I thought we'd take the time to have a look at Haas, F1's equivalent to the UK's Green Party. I mean, they exist and occasionally get a result here and there, but at the end of the day, the only awards they're getting are those for participation. Haas's 2020 season so far has been one of the worst in its short tenure in the sport, sitting on just 3 points after 11 races. And to think we thought last year was bad, with the arrival of Father Christmas's weird uncle, and a car that was about as good as turning on its tyres as Bernie Ecclestone is at turning on his wine. Okay, let's try and keep ads on this one, shall we? Anyway, I thought today we could have a look into the Haas F1 outfit and see if we can figure out exactly what's going on here and then what the team needs to do going forwards. But before we do get into things, I do want to thank everyone for their continued support on the channel in the last few months. It's been honestly incredible. We're closing on 8,000 subscribers now. So if you do like what you see, please do consider subscribing, liking and sharing this video around. And as always, if you want to hear even more of my opinions, then you can give me a follow over on Twitter as well. It's at FP1Will, and all links for that will be down below. So with that all out the way then, let's see if we can figure out exactly what's happening at Haas. Right. Where do we start then? Well, let's introduce the main protagonist of this story of the Haas F1 team, shall we? Firstly, we've got the big boss, Gene Haas, a man who, according to Gunther Steiner,
spends 100 fucking million a year of his own fucking money
to keep the team up and running. Speaking of F1's equivalent to Malcolm Tucker, next we've got the Haas team principal, Gunther Steiner, a man with such an incredible way with words.
Just fuck this one up. Fuck. You fucking look like rock stars. Fucking bunch of wanker. He's not fucking doing that to me because you are 2 fucking idiots. He smashed my fucking office door. We've got 2 fucking idiots driving for us. Bunch of fucking clowns here.
Don't worry, mate. I mean, Ferrari are there now. Now we move on to the drivers, and first we've got Romain Grosjean, who has been racing for the team since its inception in 2016. Now, throughout his career, Grosjean has proven to be good at 2 things. Guess it's just a shame then that neither of those is driving a race car. Romain's very good when it comes to complaining, repeatedly ripping into the team over the course of his time there. And then there's his other talent, which is crashing. A lot. Torn in the ways of Maldonado and De Cesaris, Romain has been involved in his fair few incidents over the years. Crashing at the start, crashing before the start, crashing with friends, crashing on his own, he's done it all. And then you've got his teammate Kevin Magnussen, who's just sort of there, really, isn't he? K-Mag has got himself into a fair few incidents over the years as well, but unlike Grosjean, can manage to keep his car intact for another go later on. He's also known for his dislike of the Renault F1 team, and Cyril a Beatball, something I can get behind, after the team boosted him out in 2017 in favour of Nico Hülkenberg and Jolyon Palmer. But with that out of the way, let's have a look at Haas's current 2020 season, and yeah, it's not great. At the start of the campaign, usually if the cameras were cut to a Haas car, it would be taking a trip through the gravel, with the team starting the year with a double brake failure for Grosjean and Magnussen in Austria. And though Romain has managed to finish every race since, albeit at the points with the exception of Germany, Kevin Magnussen has rocked up a further 4 retirements. Now, granted, not all of these have been his fault directly, but the team have only managed to score points on 2 occasions this year, despite the large number of crazy races we've had. In short, Haas are not taking up those opportunities, and all this means they sit on 3 points 11 rounds into the championship. To put this into perspective, by this point in the season 2 years ago, the team sat on 59 points, 20 times their current amount. So what's caused this then? Well, the big change from 2018 to now has been the new aerodynamic regulations introduced last year. Now you may remember that a lot of the complex aero devices were removed in 2019 in an attempt to aid the action on track, though this went about as well as Mahavir Raghunathan's 2019 F2 campaign. Getting back to the point though, and if you take a look at the 2019 Haas car, you can see a fair few similarities in concept to that of Ferrari, most notably the low front wing elements as you move towards the end plate. Now, it's not quite as aggressive as the SF90, however comparing it to the 2019 Red Bull, who went the completely other way, you can start to see what I mean. We know that Haas get a lot of help from Ferrari, and in fact we saw fellow junior squad Alfa Romeo do something similar with their Challenger last year as well. Problem is, though this system works when Ferrari are doing well, say in 2018 for example, it backfires horrifically when the Scuderia take a turn for the worse. But this is Ferrari, right? The most prestigious and successful team in Formula 1. I mean, what could possibly happen to derail the great Ferrari master plan? Oh yeah, that's right. Ferrari went down the wrong aerodynamic ideology in 2019, and that's continued to hurt them this year. What this also means is that those teams that followed them down the same route have suffered as well. A lot of people forget that the Alfa Romeo, or formerly Sauber, had a fairly decent season in 2018 as well, with the car in the capable hands of Charles Leclerc, and occasionally Marcus Ericsson. But they too have fallen away, especially this year, and are now struggling at the rear of the field with Haas. Anyway, if we go back to the American outfit, their reliance on Ferrari for parts and developments has led them to have a lesser understanding of their car, which was clearly seen with their tyre issues throughout the 2019 season. And with their poor results in the last few years, resulting in them getting a smaller portion of the FIA prize fund, they haven't got as much money to splash on that project anymore either. And when you combine that with two of the most crash-prone drivers on the grid right now, that's even more money going down the drain at the team. Now, Haas have always been big on their loyalty, sticking with team members and drivers over the years. Well, unless you're Esteban Gutierrez. However, though a consistent driver lineup has its benefits, it doesn't always yield the best results in the long term. Though there haven't been as many clashes between the teammates this year, 2019 has shown us that there's a fairly toxic environment inside that Haas team, which was only amplified by the car falling off the pace as the year went on. So, what do we need to change then? Well, let's start with the driver lineup. Now, if you watched my 2021 driver predictions video from the other week, you'll know that at Haas I placed Ferrari Junior Callum Ilott, and then current Racing Point driver Sergio Perez, who we all know will be booted from the team at the end of the year, so that Sebastian Vettel can show them the ways of a 4-time world champion, and also how to spin. However, since making that video, things have changed a bit. Though Callum was set to get a free practice outing with the team in Germany, at least before Mother Nature decided to spoil the show, it was revealed that he's not actually on Haas's current shortlist for drivers in 2021. Rumours have been circulating that Ferrari and Haas have arranged a deal similar to that at Alfa Romeo, where one of the seats was Ferrari controlled. However, those talks appear to have broken down now. And though I stick by my opinion that Ilott and Perez are probably the best lineup that Haas could go for right now, thinking about the long term anyway, I don't think it's what they're going to do. For me, the team are likely to keep one of their current drivers and put them alongside either Perez or Hülkenberg, either of which are strong options for the team. And out of those two current drivers employed at the outfit, I'd put my bets on them re-signing Kevin if they had to keep one. Now, I'm basing this off Steiner's comments after the Russian Grand Prix weekend, where he praised Magnussen's efforts over the last few races, and at the same time told the media that Grosjean's constant moaning and complaints over the radio could just cost him a drive. Now, whether Rogro's points in Germany will change any of this remains to be seen, but it is true that Kevin's been a lot quieter over the radio than he was last year, whilst Grosjean's continued to open his mouth after every gear shift, like some spoilt kid that didn't get his favourite toy out of his Happy Meal. But if you ask me, Haas's best option right now is to completely change that driver lineup, especially with the drivers that are on the market right now. And as much as I like Steiner as a personality on the grid, if things do continue to fail, then perhaps changes further up the management system should be considered as well. I think Gunther's job is safe for now, but he must be looking behind his back if the team's fortunes, or lack of them, continue. And though having a good team is one thing, it's no use when that car is about as fast as the one seen in the Flintstones TV series. As I alluded to earlier, Haas are in a tricky boat with this one. They have a poor car and not really enough time or resources available to fix their problems for next year. And as bad as it sounds right now, I'd say their best bet is to start focus on the 2022 car, when of course the new regulations come into force. The teams are currently barred from testing 2022 concepts in the wind tunnel until the end of this year, but if Haas want to jump up the order in the near future, then they've got to shift focus as early as possible. This strategy has also worked in the past. Take 2008 for example, when Honda elected to sacrifice its entire season and focus pretty much solely on the new regulations of 2009. Now, though Honda pulled out at the end of the year, by that point they'd still discovered the double diffuser concept, and when Brawn picked up the project, they went on to design the car that would take them to championship glory. Now, will Haas win the championship in 2022? No, but it could definitely push them higher up into the midfield. But anyway, that's my take on Haas in 2020 and beyond. Now, it's over to you guys. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Haas F1 team, and what you think the squad will do as we move into the new era of Formula 1. And as a little side note to finish off, I've just put a video with all about F1 on this topic as well, so if this is the sort of thing you're into, you want to hear even more of my opinions on this one, I'll leave a link to her video down in the description of this one. But that's all from me today. Hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you all in the next one.